Yo, guys, Justin James here with the 10-7, and I'm here to talk about the fight that could happen. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Guys, this is all speculation. This fight has not been confirmed yet, but a couple days ago on a Spanish broadcast, it was put down at the bottom of the screen. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Guys, this is a huge matchup for Ilia Topuria, being in the UFC, vacating his featherweight belt at 16-0. And in the opposition, you have Charles Oliveira, guys. Charles Oliveira is a gangster of the lightweight division. He's been in the UFC since 2010. And since then, he's put together a very impressive record of 23 wins and only 10 losses, all in the UFC. You know, I know Ilia Topuria has a lot to say about people that have lost in the UFC, but think not, guys. Charles Oliveira is a gangster. You know, unfortunately, his last four, he's 2-2, losing to Islam Makhachev and then losing a split decision to Arman Tsarukyan. But prior to that, the former UFC champion was on a 12-fight win streak in the lightweight division. And in my opinion, the lightweight division is one of the toughest divisions, if not the toughest division in the UFC, guys, just because the average weight of a human being is around that time or is around that point. So it has a lot of guys in the division. Now, talking about what Ilia Topuria has been doing, he is the legend killer, knocking out Max Holloway, knocking out Alexander Volkanovski. These are some of the best guys ever in the history of the division, man. And for Ilia Topuria to go in there and do the things he's done at the featherweight division excites me so much for what the potential he has at lightweight. From my understanding, he has had struggles making weight at featherweight. He's never missed, but hard weight cuts are brutal and they can be really taxing on the longevity of your career. So going up to lightweight, trying to solidify himself as one of the best, if not the best pound for pound fighter in the world, in the UFC, is just an awesome feat. And like I talked about, Ilia Topuria being 16-0 as a pro and then 8-0 in the UFC, an incredible matchup. So let's talk about this matchup. I think Charles Oliveira, you know, he's 35 years old. He's kind of towards the end of his career. You know, we talk about a fighter's motivation. I don't really understand what his why is. Is he trying to get back to being the champion? Is he fighting his contract out for a payday? That we don't know. You know, when Charles Oliveira is on and he's sharp, man, he seems unbeatable. But there's times where he just has mental lapses, you know, and I know he's fighting the best in the world. When he went against Islam Makhachev, you know, to me, Charles Oliveira is one of the best grapplers, not only in the lightweight division, but in the UFC. And to see what Islam was able to do to him and sub him in an arm triangle was just mind-boggling. And it just seemed that Oliveira was just off that day. So really, what Oliveira shows up. If we see the best of the best Oliveira, man, this guy is dangerous everywhere. You know, his striking, you know, being a grappler, he has phenomenal striking. And a lot of his submissions come from his striking, meaning that he'll hurt his opponent and, you know, then they'll end up in a grappling exchange. He'll find a guillotine. He'll find a triangle. He'll find an armbar. This guy can hit submissions from all angles in a fight. Again, to me, one of the greatest submission artists in the UFC right now. You know, then you look at Ilia Topuria. His why, I think, is going to be a lot greater than Oliveira. You know, he has a chip on his shoulder. You know, he wanted the matchup with Islam. He wanted to fight for the belt immediately, but Islam said, no. You got to get your feet wet in the lightweight division before I give you that opportunity. And fighting someone like Charles Oliveira is a little bit more than getting your feet wet. All right, he's jumping in head first to the top of the division. The former champ, again, was on a 12-fight win streak before being knocked off by Islam Makhachev. I mean, just an incredible feat. So what I think Charles has to do in this fight is play range. He has to play his long strike games, keep that good jab cross hook, and do not get in a brawl with Ilia Topuria. All these guys, you know, Ilia is such a pressure fighter. He's putting guys, he put Volkanovski's back on the fence, knocked him out. Put Max Holloway's back on the fence, knocked him out. If Charles Oliveira finds himself in a spot where his back is up against the fence, guess what? He's getting knocked out. And I tell you what, something else Charles does that I don't particularly like, but it's almost like a trap. And, you know, he doesn't really talk about if he does this on purpose or not. But a lot of times when Charles Oliveira absorbs a big shot, he'll fall to his back as if he's rocked. All right. And then guys will be like, oh, I got to jump on and finish. And I tell you what, that's what Oliveira wants. He's fine off his back. He's fine if you're in his guard. He's fine if you're in top. You know, when you're one of the best grapplers, of course you are. So is Topuria, if he hurts him and drops him, is he going to rush in or is he going to wave him up? You know, going up in that experience, you know, when you got, you know, Charles Oliveira with 35 wins and 10 losses, you know, 45 MMA fights under his belt compared to 16, I mean, there's just such a vast experience difference there. Can Ilia if I was Ilia and I'm his coach, I would be anticipating to hit Oliveira and see him try to pull guard. And when he does that, kick away at his legs, wait for the referee to stand him up. Guys, I'm very excited about this matchup. Ilia Topuria has grown on me. If you guys know, and I've lost so much money betting against him, taking Alexander Volkanovski, taking Max Holloway. I'm going with him this time, man. As much as I like Charles Oliveira, as much as I respect him, I just don't think his why is great enough to overcome Ilia Topuria. This guy, he's young, he's hungry. He is on a mission to get to Islam Makhachev and take that belt and be ranked the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. You heard it here first. If this fight does go down, because, again, it's still speculation. I scoured the internet this morning to see if this was real, if it was not. It's still speculation. Tapology hasn't announced it. Dana White hasn't announced it. Again, guys, this is a speculative video. All right, so if this match does happen, I'm taking Ilia Topuria for the win, and he is going for the UFC lightweight championship after he beats Charles Oliveira. Tell me what you guys think in the comments.